tell you what, I'm so darn proud. And those poor people who have lost, anyway. Come on, man. There's not a whole lot about boy saves dog as he swims in the lake, to say, it's about, somebody pushed the dog in the lake. I mean, I get it, but come on, man. Well, and if you really want to worry about the government, you need an F-16. Come on, man. Don't mess with the women in America unless you want to get the benefit. Come on, man. I want to tell them.
And they all cheer like a bunch of seals, I tell you. No matter what he says.
My Republican friends, get ready, pal. You're going in for a problem. Come on, man. We cannot win this re-election. Excuse me. We can only re-elect Donald Trump. Come on, man. Do you know that 28 out of every high school student is Latino? Come on, man. Make no mistake. If you try anything to raise the cost of producing jobs, I will veto it.
Aren't we glad we dodged this bullet?
Come on, man. More than half of the women in my administration are women.
Wait. Half of the women are women, so the other half are trans, which are men, right?
Come on, man.
They're dudes.
We went for two reasons. One, to come on, man.
Patience, I tell you.
No president added more to the debt in 4 years than my president. Come on, man. Buy a shotgun. Come on, man. So the best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway. Come on, man. She pick up the phone and call and say to that police officer with a cell phone that the drug deal's going down, knowing that she would never be fingered. Come on, man.
Oh, the media.
I think it's a right
Daniel?
For people that bad at
I got a bunch of clips. I thought I'd start with this one. Get some people on here.
Come on, man. But if you're a family that's a two-wage earner, each of the parents, one making 30 grand, one making 40 or 50, maybe that's a little more than, well, yeah, they need the money.
The way they tax it.
Come on, man. Let's talk about everybody being able to, no matter what your age, go out and be able to purchase cocaine. What do you think about that idea?
Purchasing cocaine, huh?
Come on, man. Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys. Come on, man. Donald, this is president. Come on, man. And the order, and that increases the total vaccine order in the United States by 50%.
And they're making money off the top.
400 million order to 600 million. This is enough vaccine to fully vaccinate 300 Americans. Come on, man. My grandpa was named Ambrose Finnegan. Come on, man. They got a nickname. They call me Shoe Leather. I was little, but they could beat me up, and I hurt them in the process. Come on, man.
He never
back in the 30s, when we had the first breakthrough in terms of what and for having union movement be able to move.
The union movement has been salted by a bunch of commies. They're going to try to do a major strike in May of the last year of Trump's presidency, so that Republicans can't get elected. They're going to try to close down all food, all transportation, everything. They're assaulting all these areas to get these commie workers in there that they can do a major protest, a major shutdown, stop workage for the whole country. They want to do it real late in this presidency, but
if
early
you
enough
were at
for
a
the
fancy
election.
restaurant in Washington 5-6 years ago at an important business meeting, and a gay or lesbian waiter came up, or transgender,
Hey, Deborah,
spoke
Mark,
with a lisp or demonstrated they were gay or lesbian, and someone at that luncheon table made fun of that person, no one would have said anything. Come on, man. Put that double-barrel shotgun and fired 2 blasts outside the house.
I wouldn't trust him with a gun, that's for sure.
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. I mean, you think about it. Come on, man. Donald Trump's presidency. Guess what? You know. Come on, man. Wake up.
Surprised he didn't doze off during that.
Come on, man.
Dodged a bullet there.
It makes sense. Let me put it another way. It makes no sense.
No, you don't.
Come on, man. We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
In his own words, this isn't AI.
By the way, it's all his fault that we're spending $6 billion in taxpayer money this month to help fight HIV/AIDS.
Don't have sex with animals.
Come on, man.
That might help. It's got the power tie on, Jill, the real power behind it.
Come on, man. We can't rebuild our economy
bottom of the auto gun.
and meet this climate crisis.
Climate crisis? Yeah, they need to spend more money. They want to spend
if your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon or whatever, something, or, whether those aliens are here or not, who are the people they talk to beyond the kids who love talking about it?
I don't know.
Come on,
you need
man.
a dictionary for that.
I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness.
Does happen with old age.
What happened was the guy takes a revealing picture of his naked friend or whatever in a compromising position.
That should have happened to him, probably.
Come on, man. We have to make sure that we are in a position that we are. Well, let me go the second. Come on, man. Beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this final. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder why. Come on, man.
I don't know. I thought there was some humor in that one. Okay, let's go on to, and they call us the extremists. Watch this. And we're the extremists, huh? You see that bunch? Right there? Oh my God. Bunch of dudes thinking they're little girls. With a beard, even. Still wearing masks, though. They won't give that up. Got to bring the nut houses back.
1 minute.
The gay community's been co-opted by these nutcakes. Okay, here's a guy that walked into the wrong area in Portland where Antifa was, and watch what happened to him. Watch this to the very end. At the very end, it gets worse. Maybe everyone's seen this one, but this guy on his knees here.
Hey, bro, you're not leaving, bro. You're not.
That's Antifa for you. Antifa and Black Lives Matter, mostly Antifa.
I'm just trying to get my homie home.
Nah, he's sitting down, bro. Where your wife at? Right here. Where your wife at, nigga?
Where the fuck is okay?
Where your wife at? Bro, my homie. Where's your wife?
Right there.
Right where?
Right there.
Right where?
You know, he's trying to call me.
Most of them beating him are whites.
She's trying to call me. Can I answer it?
Answer what do what you gotta do.
Can I answer it? Who the hell are they?
Answer the fucking phone for your bitch. Answer and let her know you're okay.
Yeah, the dude doesn't look like a lady. I agree.
I know.
This gets worse
one down there.
right at the
What
end.
you mean you're not trying to hurt
When they
nobody,
stop
nigga?
recording.
You just shut the fuck up, nigga. You was fucking backing up nowhere for it, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? You right here. Bitch, fuck is you talking about? Fuck is you talking about? You weren't trying to hurt nobody, nigga. Fuck this nigga. Fuck this nigga, bro. I ain't trying to hurt nobody, nigga. You want to? Watch the fuck out, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? You weren't trying to hurt nobody, nigga. Fuck is you talking about, nigga? Watch out, you see? Fuck is you talking? Hey, chill. Fuck is you talking about, nigga? Bitch, fuck is you talking about, nigga? That's on me, nigga.
It's white Antifa. He's trying to talk like he's black, but he's not. They're crashing his car. See? See how bad it was right at the end? And it gets worse, actually. They'd stopped recording then. All right, here's a little bit of the left's reaction to Charlie Kirk stuff and all that that's going on. Let's start here. This is a Trantifa anger. Watch this.
Angry. Go out, buy a gun. It's okay to be angry.
Get out of my face now!
If you try to stop me from going into a woman's bathroom,
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Yeah, I
be
would
the last
stop him.
mistake you ever make.
It is ma'am.
Find that anger,
Just because
harness it to do good in the world. This anger,
Done, man. We can just make a batch and say that some of us well.
anger is probably my primary source of motivation.
You want to call me sir again?
The thing is, you don't have to leave.
You will lose your bed.
For everything that I do.
Cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
It was a call to action or a call to arms.
Don't be afraid to show your anger.
They want you to be afraid. They want you to be afraid. Unbelievable. All right. Philadelphia DA allowing people to block from attending the town hall meeting. So they want it all their way, and they won't let other people in to express their opinions at the town hall. Watch this.
You're not coming in. You're not coming in. Simple as that. You're not coming into our sacred spaces. You're not coming in.
It's a town hall.
You're not coming
What the hell?
Why not? Why can't I come in?
Because I said you're not.
This is Larry Krasner's town hall at Mother Bethel Church at Society Hill.
You're not coming to our sacred space. Where are you? Where are you? Where were you yesterday?
It's a town hall.
Because I said you're not coming in.
I'm
saying you're not coming in.
You have no right to tell
You're not coming in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're not coming in our sacred space. What you'll see what it is. I don't care. You'll see what it means to come up in here. You're going to see what it means.
Asa, don't threaten people. Don't threaten people, Asa. Don't threaten people.
We were trying to come to the event. You know,
And
they denied us entry. They have a human wall. They have the blue wall.
You touch me, dude, we're gonna have a problem. Let you know. Don't touch me.
You need
Here, black arm job.
You need them.
Look at the armbands outside. Up there, the one guy with the red armband. White commies.
Don't touch us either, man.
This is a party of inclusivity. These people are clowns.
They are clowns.
Is that a threat?
They kept y'all safe.
Oh, that's a hateful.
Yeah, they kept you safe.
They kept us safe.
We can handle our own. They can handle.
They can handle their own.
Not us.
Yeah.
So we go to where we want to worship, okay? If you want to come and make
You're worshiping Larry Krasner?
And worshiping a politician. They don't want anyone to say anything bad about him. All right, TikToker tells Mega what's we're not going to live in peace.
There will come a day in the not so distant future where MAGA Republicans or former MAGA Republicans will not be able to live in peace in this country anymore.
They sound nice, huh?
Not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but I know for certain that you're either going to have to leave this country or completely hide any evidence that you ever supported Donald Trump in order to just walk out of your house. Even in the most rural conservative areas of this country, prior to January 2025, you couldn't walk out of your house and fly a schmotzy flag around and be vocally proud about the fact that you're a white supremacist. Half the town might agree with you, but there would be consequences for that. There'll be a day very soon where those consequences are not only going to be reinstated in society, but it's also going to be impossible for you to do anything in peace. If you choose to live out and proud about the fact that you supported Donald Trump during this time,
yeah, I am.
Your life's going to be miserable unless you sequester yourself to your small, little, rural East Texas town and never leave.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Ain't happening. Okay, let's move on. I did this one. Okay. Here we go. Mom's son, history teacher, trashing Charlie Kirk. Watch this.
Do you see this man? This man is my son's history teacher. So on Friday, my son came home because he said there had been a protest at his high school and a student brought a gun to school. I said, what happened? He said, my teacher was talking badly about Charlie Kirk. And this is what he said. And he was like, Mom, I didn't go to my last period because I felt completely uncomfortable about this. Because unlike the gremlins that you guys are raising, my kids know God and they have a sense of compassion and love for humanity. So yeah, he's fired because there were parents up there protesting, like actually protesting. And I was so mad because I'm like, dang, I'm at work. Because I definitely would have been up there. And again, I'm glad for that. I don't want nothing like that teaching my children, and you shouldn't either. I keep saying it. If a person shows zero remorse or regard for an innocent life being taken and feel like they deserved that, there ain't shit you can teach my kid. I don't trust my kid around you. And you clearly align with the party of demons. And so, therefore, I am grateful that he lost his damn job.
Me too. Shouldn't have him around the kids, I agree. All right, here's Democrats paying homeless to go to protest.
Can we yell?
You're gonna make a difference.
They're drug addicts, some of them. Look at them all wearing masks.
Oh, my bad. Shit.
But they're not gonna let cops wear masks. All right, next one's teachers' unions are publishing a book on how to stop us. They call us fascists.
While we're all sitting here wondering how the education system in this country indoctrinated so many kids, ladies and gentlemen, let me present you with the president of one of the largest teachers unions in this country. Yes, this is a real book she published this week. Why Fascists Fear Teachers. This is what we're up against. See the problem now?
All right, here comes dumb blank pink. I didn't use it.
So I'm not going to make my video yet. I just want to show you guys what she posted. This is one of them. Medically accurate. You guys get where she's going with this, right? Next one. This is too gross for me to read out loud, so I'll move out of the way so you guys can read it. Another one.
I think they call her pink.
She actually said for a white supremacist. Here it is. That's crazy, right? That they care about unalike children in school, but yet they love celebrating abortion. The hypocrisy. And then this. The next time someone brings up Morning Charlie Kirk to you, act as if you don't know who he is and ask them what is he known for. Ask what kind of things he talked about. Make them explain it. Make it awkward. Oh, bitch, I'm gonna make it real fucking awkward for you tomorrow.
Yep. All right. This is horrible. Here we go.
I hope his wife and kids get fucking raped and murdered. A supporter of ours was sent these messages because of a comment she made on a Joey Swole post. Thought I was a peaceful leftist.
Hey,
bitch,
Tammy.
I'm so far left, I got my guns back, and boy do I have guns. Been hitting the range often. Bullseyes at 400 yards. Can't wait for the next conservative cuck to step foot in my state. Too bad Utah got to this little crybaby bitch before me or one of my guys did.
Hey,
I bet he was crying for his mommy while bleeding out on the floor of that little stage like the little bitch he was. I hope his wife and kids get fucking raped and murdered. We have a veteran openly saying that they are training to shoot at 400 yards for the next conservative to come into his state. This isn't a bot account. This isn't some zero follower page. This isn't someone hiding their identity. He's open about it and he's serious and he's calling for the rape of toddlers.
I know trolls. Everyone has been a troller before. No one is doing that and no one is ever joking about that. That is very serious. Not anything to joke about at all.
The left likes to cancel us, let's cancel them. Everyone wants to keep playing nice in these situations. No, I want to keep seeing more people get fired. I want to see more people getting their gym memberships canceled. This dude's been reported to the FBI already, but they're not going to be quick enough. People need to act on it themselves.
I'm also confused because aren't leftists usually no guns?
Somehow he's so far left that he has guns. For those of you who believe in God, or for those of you who don't believe in God but believe in good versus evil,
us having guns.
It would be irresponsible of you not to do something of this. Responsible not to find out his gym and send this shit to them. It would be irresponsible to not find out where this dude works. Send this to someone who doesn't think it could get worse. Because this is the worst shit I've read probably my entire life. Someone calling for the rape of a toddler.
It doesn't get worse than that one.
It can't.
It literally doesn't get worse.
This is left wing now. This is what they've come to. This is what they think is cool. It's okay for someone to get shot for preaching the gospel, but we're just going to sit idle by where a guy talks about training to kill the next conservative, talking about we need to rape toddlers and wives. We're going to sit idle by for that while they kill people for preaching Jesus?
As a girl, the thought of this man literally going to my gym is terrifying. Knowing that person is there and you have no idea who it is terrifying. That's probably the worst feeling. I get it, freedom of speech, but that does not mean freedom of consequences at all.
Look at Charlie Kirk.
Yep. All right, next one. Transgender is actively calling for blood, more assassinations.
So look, fuck Charlie Kirk. I'll say it with my whole fucking chest. Fuck Charlie Kirk. That man spread hateful rhetoric. You guys fucking know. If you're watching this, there's a good chance you fucking know. If you are paying any attention to my take, you already know. But I think what people don't realize is how much privilege is coming from the people who feel like they're left-leaning, but suddenly, as soon as things get violent, as soon as things get bloody, not me. No, I have too much empathy. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see people hurt. Nobody deserves that. No, some people do deserve that. People whose lives are causing death and harm to others, they fucking deserve it. I hope he's the first of many. Because it's not like our kindness, our empathy is keeping our people from getting killed. It's not. It's not. Like, silence is complicity.
I don't see any people going out
on just this thing.
rounding up and killing trans.
It's time for minorities to stop being small, to stop being quiet, to stop being fucking digestible. It's time for minorities to rise the fuck up, to fight fucking back. And sometimes fighting is messy, sometimes it's bloody. And that's the fucking way it has to be. I'm not going to apologize for that. Like, I will die on this fucking hill.
Well,
I recognize my views lean utilitarian. I recognize the flaws in that logic, but also show me a better way, because nothing so far is working.
They get their way or else. They're sort of like little kids in a tantrum on the floor.
Capitalism's growing and growing. Patriarchy's growing and growing.
Yeah, capitalism
Nothing's getting
grow.
better.
That's how you
I think people are
leave wealth to
afraid
your kids, but they don't believe in the family.
to do what it takes, you know? Like, even when you're not the one getting your hands dirty, don't condemn those who are so fucking done that they did what they had to do to take a stand. Like, no, killing one person isn't going to fix
Do you
things.
have a mental illness problem or what?
Making people afraid to speak that kind of rhetoric, making people think twice, making people feel not empowered, yeah, that will. So
empowered to do what?
I don't know. I know that there's a lot of emotion and logical flaws in my argument, but I think even if you strip all that away, I don't think the core premise is wrong.
Next one I got is the UN just made it mandatory for the mark of the beast. Here we go. They're going around Trump. They're trying to go around Trump. That's why we really shouldn't be in the UN.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, and I want to do a quick update about a document that got passed by the United Nations this weekend called the Pact of the Future document. It's two parts, one on science and technology and one about the youth and future generations. It is quite egregious, and it was done by a procedure called the silence procedure, which makes it a pact. And if no one objected, it is automatically adopted and put into the record as being completely adopted. This is the World Health Organization's runaround, or end around. Since they were not able to get the World Health Organization treaty passed, they decided to take it to the General Assembly. And it is even more egregious than what the World Health Organization was wanting to get passed. Let me just read you something really quickly about what is inside of this pact that is now being accepted by 193 nations around the world and equally open-armed accepted by our current administration. Everyone, it says that this is the power structure, fully digital and maximized for the control of the masses.
The UN administration.
Everyone will be expected to have a biometric digital ID that marks them not just as citizens of an individual country, but as a global citizen.
They want to put chips in you.
So anytime you hear global citizen or anytime you hear sustainability, think that this is an egregious thing that's happening at the level of the World Health Organization and the United Nations. Anyone that has a dissonant opinion will be labeled as misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation and memory hold. Perpetrators for unapproved information will be fact-checked and punished by the system, which will be operated and enforced by artificial intelligence. Punishments will include being locked out of one's bank account, being unable to make certain purchases, unable to get on an airplane, on a subway, drive on public roads. This is the future, according to the world's self-appointed overlords at the United Nations.
You're right,
These are
John.
unelected bureaucrats that are making decisions about our country, our sovereignty
They say
around
all
the
that
world.
bullshit. A lot of it
Nothing could be more important at this
is to try to scare you, John. It's the big talk, like you said, until the shooting starts. When it comes to physical fistfights, they're terrible.
point in time,
especially the
than
tranny
to
ones.
get prepared. Have water, food, digital access, flashlights, a way to communicate with family and friends. Now is really the time to get involved and get prepared, because this is what's coming. Our Congress is sitting on its hands. There was a press conference on the 17th about this, and no further action has been taken. So it's up to us to mobilize and to go forward, particularly with your local sheriffs, to get your constitutional sheriffs.
Colin, that's coming to England first, this digital ID stuff. They want to put chips in you.
To say this isn't going to be allowed in my.
And these chips in the future, they'll be able to control you with it. They say that they'll have a way to put thoughts into your mind and memories that aren't even true. They'll make you believe that you did something that you didn't and all that kind of stuff.
My county. Thank you very much. Take action. We've been talking about the onset of one world order, one world government, one world religion, one world money for a long time. Well, it's no longer coming. It's here.
Trump's not allowing it, but they're pushing this through the UN. They couldn't get it in the World Health Organization because they wanted to put a jab in you with the chip. So now they're trying another way with the ID stuff to get these chips in you. Is what they're trying to do. So next woman, all right, I'm going to do a whole section on people that are now leaving the left that used to be on the left. Here we go. They're good ones.
Okay, so I have been debating for a few days now whether or not I was going to make this video because I know people are going to be like, oh, she's just trying to go viral or whatever. But just after everything that has happened the last couple of days with Charlie Kirk, just everything happening in our world right now, I feel like the Lord is just really opening my eyes to see how important it is to use my voice. So whether 2 people see this video or 2,000, I just feel like I'm supposed to make this video. So in case you haven't heard what's going on at Texas A&M right now, there was a professor that got fired for teaching transgender ideology in a children's literature class, and I was in that class. So basically, I just want to preface that the reason I'm making this video is because, like I said, I was in that class, and so I had a first-hand point of view of everything that she taught. I was also in contact with President Welsh, and so I got to see the way that he responded to this situation. And there's just so many opinions going around on social media right now, like, oh, he needs to be fired, and rude comments about the girl who spoke out in class and stuff like that. And so I just want to put the truth out there of what happened in this situation. So first, I'm just going to explain to you all things that happened in this class.
Colin, they're desperate to get control. That's why. They want absolute control. They're shutting you up, arresting people, Kenny Hockmans and everything.
So literally on the first day of class, my small group, like the class split into groups, and my small group was given a book to read about a blue crayon that identified as a red crayon. And just like the whole process of
comes old trans stuff,
supporting it to transition into the red crayon. And guys, we're not stupid. We get the meaning behind this book. And once again, this was a children's literature class. And so right off the bat, I was just like, whoa. And then fast forward to like the 4th day of class, I think, Melissa McCool, who was the professor of this class, she came out to us in class and told us that she identifies as a queer autistic woman. And so I'm not really sure what that has to do with children's literature, but it was just another example of the way that she incorporated this ideology into a children's literature class. The next thing is that almost every single book that we read in this class, maybe except for one of them, had something to do with the LGBTQ plus community. The first book we read, it was called Princess. It was about 2 princesses, that get into relationship or have feelings for each other, whatever. We read another book about a girl who had a gay dad and died from AIDS. We read another book about this girl that loses her mom, and she ends up falling in love with another girl in her class. And so just every single book, like I said, except literally one out of the whole summer semester, had something to do with that community. And then we were also given multiple articles to read each week that were also about this topic. So then fast forward even more to the second to last week of class, and Melissa Nicole is teaching us about the gender unicorn. And basically the gender unicorn was the different levels of how someone can identify sexually, physically, biologically is what she said, emotionally, all these different things of how somebody can choose to identify. And so if you've seen the video that went viral, that video took place on the day that we were being taught about this gender unicorn. And if you haven't seen the video, I encourage you to go watch it, because the girl in the video is just respectfully asking, how does this apply to children's literature?
Graphic oxide.
So I'm not going to explain the conversation word for word, because
it seems like they can program it a bit.
To listen to it. But the girl and the professor,
and I'm sure in the
future
they'll put
once again,
more
the girl
jabs
stays
in it or
respectful.
something.
They are and the professor keeps encouraging her to leave.
Hey, Rock.
Because she will not tolerate hate speech in her classroom, which definitely was not hate speech. Just because she didn't agree with her doesn't mean she was committing hate speech. But anyways, she finally kicks her out of the classroom and then says that anybody else who does not agree with what she teaches in her classroom is also not welcome back. So at this point, a few of us were like, okay, enough is enough. So I reached out to the girl who spoke up in class, and she told me that the more people who reach out to President Welsh and bring this to his attention, the better. And so I sent him an email that night just expressing my concerns and how this is not what I signed up for in this class. I'm not getting any children's literature out of a children's literature class. And just my concerns with what she's teaching. And so literally the next morning he calls me and he's like, I completely understand. It's very important for everybody to feel heard and have a safe space in the classroom. And to also know what they're signing up for in a class that they're paying for. So from the very beginning, he was nothing but kind to me and made me feel heard and listened to, and just made it aware that he wasn't just going to sweep this under the rug and he was actually going to take care of this. And so he told us that there was going to be a meeting with every single dean of every single college at Texas A&M, not just the English dean, but every single dean at Texas A&M. And he was going to tell them about the situation and make it aware what was okay and not okay to teach on this topic. So then after this, whether it went viral and a student told him she's still teaching this stuff, or he checked up in the classroom and saw that she was still teaching it, however that happened, he was made aware that she was still teaching this content this semester, this fall semester of 2025, and then she got fired. So he did his job. All that to say, Melissa McCool was wrong for teaching this kind of thing in a children's literature classroom. Children deserve to maintain their innocence as long as they can. And whenever we're shoving this kind of stuff in their face, that's ripping away their innocence. And I want to make it very clear that I don't believe that it's wrong to talk about these things. I believe that it's wrong to talk about them in a children's literature classroom whenever we're learning about educating children. Something that has always been really important to me is being able to still love and be friends with people who have different opinions than I do. And so I think it's actually really important to talk about these topics and educate ourselves so that we can understand people better. But where Melissa McCool went wrong is bringing that into a children's literature classroom. Anyways, if you got this far, thanks for watching. Just remember that Jesus loves you and we're called to love others no matter what their opinion is.
Yep, she's right. All right, college civil social change class. I didn't read it right. They were told to write something that inspired them, influenced them. She chose to write about Charlie Kirk and her college professor had a fit. Watch.
Okay, so I'm in a civil social change
Now turn your
class
volume up.
this term, and we were supposed to basically write about someone that I got something in mind that was influencing, the community and further helping the community. So I wrote my discussion post on Kirk. Honey, you would have thought that I said something insane. Do you know my teacher wrote almost a whole page of why she disagrees and she doesn't, she is propaganda. And I'm just like, ma'am, are you okay? Like, I'm gonna show
That's
you.
the one
Like, I'm
teaches
gonna
our
come back and I'm gonna
kids.
show you, because you're gonna be like, seriously, like, I don't have no problem if you're a left wing person, but it's the fact that you're trying to sell me something that I'm not going to buy.
Okay, y'all. So this is my third time recording this thing because my kids were being utterly crazy. But anyway, this is what she said. Basically, I'm about to paraphrase all of this for y'all because it's a lot to read. So in this section, she was basically like, wow, you made some good talking points. Is turning point are they a movement? Absolutely. Have their methods been effective? Absolutely. Then she said, I wonder though, through the geniuses of Kirk's Christian faith, because like him or not, he advocated not for the true teachings of Christ, at least not the ones she grew up with. Basically, she was in a Christian cult. We feel bad for her, prayers up to her, that she's, found the healing and all that good stuff. Then she goes to say, but again, propaganda dressed up in religion sells well. Honey, she ain't wrong. She right. She said, but let me challenge the faith message Kirk preached. I dare say hate, not Christian values, and I will stand on that. Well, honey, she says she's standing on it, and you know what? Hey, you are entitled to your opinion. Cool. Anyway, she said, I also did not really ever see Kirk actually debate. This is where I disagree, because he did debate. It's just the fact that the people that he were debating, they never had a good rebuttal or a good comeback to what he was saying, because what he was saying was true. And sometimes, like I always say, you can bring the horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink. And sometimes, even though it's the truth, people are not ready to hear the truth. So I disagree with that. She said there are ample examples of his podcast and YouTube videos to illustrate my points. Honey, you mean all the heavily edited versions of those things that have already been debunked or taken out of context? But yes, sis, you go off. You know, right? Anyway, she said, I am not in any way suggesting you, Casey, or Mike, which are the other people that wrote about Kirk too, brought up racism or misogyny or other things, because I did not. I didn't. So I was confused. Like, sis, hold on, wait a second now, because I never did any of that. We're only in week 3. Anyway, she said, I will also say that in the wake of Kirk's death, which is probably his most I guess great message or something. Unfortunately, there has been more calls. See, this is where I disagree too. Unfortunately, there has been more calls for violence against those who oppose his message and the Trump administration. Even calls for violence from President.
I haven't heard it.
Where did you get this? Where did you wait? Where did you get this bit of information from? Because honey, that's news to me. I ain't never seen Trump come on there and say that the rights need to go pick up tiki torches and go burn some stuff. Never once seen that, and I didn't see Van say that either. So I don't know what the hell she is talking about. Maybe she's looking at some of the Trump supporters that don't have no good common sense. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, that's basically.
All right. Next one. This lady's right on, young lady.
I watched them call this man hateful because he said they were 2 genders. I watched him talk about biblical principles and be told to his face that he was hateful. Because telling young kids who have been indoctrinated once they left their home that it's okay, my body, my choice, my whatever, I can do whatever it is I want in this twisted, dark, demonic theology. I watched him go in those systems and systematically, bring young children out of demonic propaganda and indoctrination of the left, the wicked, liberal media, telling kids to literally throw their life away and to do things that will send them straight to hell. Charlie Kirk went into them environments. specifically because he loved children and he loved this nation and he saw where it was going.
See, so many people waking up to this too. All right, here's another one leaving the Democratic Party.
So I don't make political content on my page because of my own personal experience with speaking my mind on political topics. I went to a very liberal arts college, heavy on the liberal aspect. It was basically an echo chamber of liberal indoctrination, and I barely came out of there with a sane mind because any opinion that I had that wasn't 100% on board with liberals caused me to be socially ostracized, criticized with every name in the book: racist, homophobic, bigot, this, that, and the third, which couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, I used to be the biggest liberal out there. I actually organized and hosted my own protests when George Floyd died. Just you guys are gonna laugh, but I also had a septum piercing. I had blue hair, so I know that stereotype is out there. So it's kind of true, but that's how I was back around 2019, 2020, just that era.
It's good to see him changing.
Where things started to change was when I started to get a lot of pushback and criticism for just speaking my own opinions on college campus. It really shook me deeply to my core and made me self-reflect, research a lot of topics, and I just started diving more into conservative opinions. So I started watching people like Amir Odom on YouTube, Amala Akanobi, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Piers Morgan, Blair White, all of those prominent YouTube channels. Started watching their videos, and I started realizing how much the left has brainwashed me in a way. Just my way of thinking was very much a victim mentality, and I wasn't happy when I was a Democrat. I was very upset, angered all the time, wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't at my healthiest back then either. So I think those are very interesting correlations. Now, it may not be the case for everyone, and it probably isn't, but for me personally, that was my experience as a Democrat. And I do think that part of the reason why that was is because the Democrat mindset is that you are a victim, subject to your circumstances as an Afro-Latina Black woman here in America. It's like, oh, you have no rights because you're Black and it's hard for you. You're probably poor and you can't do anything. You can't make your life better. Just, things like that just really, when you internalize them, it becomes your reality, right? So that was like my reality back then. And I had to wake up and realize that that's not the case. Like, my mom is very successful. It was a very good, high-paying job. I was raised very comfortably, upper middle class. I was able to do whatever I wanted to do without an issue. And this was like when I was growing up.
It's the white liberals that are the
whole
problem,
idea that just because I'm Black, I can't make the most of my situation is just completely false. Same applies to my family. There's hardly anybody in my family who's really struggling. If it's, that's not due to their own choices. Of course, I have some family members who are not doing as well as they could be, but they chose to do drugs. They chose to stay in really bad areas, which of course also impact how you view life.
This encourages
everything has a
everyone
cause
out there.
and effect. And I started realizing that. And then, of course, with Charlie Kirk passing away and being assassinated, I actually had never seen any Charlie Kirk's videos. To be honest, I didn't really know who he was. I had heard of him, but I just didn't really know who he was. So when my coworker told me that Charlie Kirk was shot, I had to look into it, of course, because I didn't know if he was Republican, if he was liberal. I just didn't know. I didn't know where he stood. And ever since then, I've just been down the rabbit hole of Charlie Kirk's videos, and I just can't understand the hatred that this man had gotten. As someone who's also wrestled with my own faith, I grew up in a very traditional Christian household. I know what it's like to just, wrestle with that and your connection with God. Just in watching his videos, it's actually strengthened my relationship with God. It's brought me closer to him just to see how passionate, how secure he was in his faith. It's actually very admirable. And you can believe what you want. I don't care what you believe in. I just know from me how I was raised. It was deeply moving for me to see a man like that, especially in today's day and age, just so proud of his faith and proud to share that with other people. I'm always scared to bring up my faith in conversation because of the criticism that I've gotten in the past, and also my own personal struggles as well. But watching his videos just showed me how dark and demonic people have been in their reaction to his assassination. I had a coworker post to a story, "Let's thank so-and-so for using her birthday powers to kill Charlie Kirk." Comments like that are just so disgusting. I actually can't fathom why anybody would think it's okay to post that. I'm not the biggest Kamala fan, but if she was assassinated, I would not feel joy about that. And I just think it says a lot about a person when they do express those types of feelings openly, online especially, when things like that happen. Now, you can feel however you want about Charlie Kirk. I certainly don't agree with him on every single take he's had, but I would not wish for anybody to be assassinated for just speaking their opinion, especially how he did it so eloquently, respectfully. It didn't matter who you are, black, white, brown, anything in between, mixed, from a different country as well, because many people from overseas also loved Charlie Kirk. If you're trans, gay, non-binary, any part of the rainbow, if you were on that spectrum, he would still treat you like a human being. And that's what people should do. People should aspire to be like that, to treat others with respect, regardless of what their opinions are, regardless of what their political affiliations are as well. Because at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We are all worthy of being loved, respected, and accepted, and to be able to speak our minds, because that's one of our rights that we have here in the United States as American citizens. We have the right to speak our minds freely. Of course, there are consequences, but the consequence should never be death. That to me is just awful. And the fact that there are so many on the left who support that, who support ostracization and assassinations just because you don't agree with somebody, just deeply bothers me, and is why I personally cannot associate myself with the left anymore. Any party that is like that, I can't get on board with, personally speaking. And I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like a full-on MAGA conservative, because that's not true, but I definitely do resonate more with the idea that the left has left me, because this is a party that I don't even recognize anymore. I think they have lost the plot. I think that there are some serious fundamental issues with the left that need to be addressed and reformed and changed if they expect people to proudly support the Democratic Party. Now, the right obviously is not perfect. There are some issues there as well, but I don't see people on the right celebrating horrific events like that. I really don't. All I see is just people who are accepting, loving, kind. They advocate for the uplifting of America and American citizens to make this country the best it could be, to advocate for a free market to take advantage of this country and all the joys it has to offer, loving yourself, loving others, and respecting your relationship with faith and just traditional values, which I think have been lost. There's nothing wrong with traditional values. That should also include gay rights as well, because traditionally speaking, we've had gay rights for a long time now. So, this whole idea that, conservatives are homophobic, racist, bigoted, that's just not the case. That has not been my experience. In fact, I've been met with nothing but open arms from people on the right, as opposed to being ostracized on the left for just speaking my mind and opinion and having a clear, rational thought. Now, if you can relate to my experience, I would love to hear your journey as well in the comments. Please don't take offense to anything that I've said. This is just my own opinion and my own experience of just me talking about it, just because something
some
kind of defined my
tranny
community.
attacking her.
And I had felt so alone for such a long time. I do think now is the time to start finding my community and those who at least share similar experiences. So please let me know.
Okay, the next one is a woman who never voted before and is now going to vote against him on the left.
I never believed in voting in the United States elections, but I think I'm going to vote the next one. I never voted. And I've always just been interested in politics. I mean, I'm pure independent, pure. Okay, the reason why I never voted was because I've always been scared that I would vote for the demise of the country. And the first time I could have voted, I could have voted for Obama. So thank God I did not do that. And yeah.
Hi, Rick.
Next election, I'm voting. Yep. And this is purely based off the future of the country for my children. I don't care about whatever is going on like today, right now, 2025. Like, I care about 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, when my children are adults. That's why I'm going to vote next election. Yep. Made up my mind.
Oh, it's good to see, actually, finally. Does anyone else find it interesting? Here, I'll just play that people extract the same language. They're using the same stuff over and over again.
Something profound is happening right now, and I can't stop crying over a man I've never met. I have never in my life been able to see so black and white, good and evil, like just right in front of my face. Sorry, this hits a personal note. I walked away from that party a long time ago and lost my entire life because of it. But when somebody like Charlie Kirk gets murked out of this world in a split second. I've never been a religious person in my life. I wasn't raised that way. But recently, probably in the last year or two, I've felt at least a curiosity, a pull, whatever you might call it. But as a gay person, you've been told your entire life you don't belong, but I don't believe that. Like, you cannot help but be called to God when you see a man like Charlie Kirk assassinated in that fashion.
Okay, the next one's about the First Amendment.
I just find it absolutely repulsive that the group of people that have been celebrating for over a week now the assassination of Charlie Kirk, whose voice was permanently silenced by a bullet, who literally just went to these campuses to debate people. They're crying and screaming about the First Amendment right now because Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air.
Well, he's taken off on many channels, not all of them. I think that's coming because of how terrible he is and no one watches him.
These people are absolutely devoid of what reality is. It's crazy.
Yeah, Paula, the National Guard, some military have gone out there. They get enough out there, and they're going to shut that crap down. They're not going to get away with all that crap. And they're harming people. Earlier in the video, I played a thing where they beat a person up because he walked into the wrong area. He wasn't one of them, so Antifa attacked him and beat the living crap out of him. So, nearly killed him.
Furthermore, these are the same people that celebrated when Tucker got fired. They're the same people that celebrated when Trump was deplatformed on social media.
Yeah, it's going to be hot tonight.
These are the same people that celebrated when conservative social media pages were banned for absolutely no reason. And
actually, I think Antifa is going to get worse before it gets better. And they'll have to be shut down. They have to go after the funding.
Shadow banned. And you want to sit there and talk about
most of their income is from them stealing. They steal. And they use the welfare systems.
First Amendment.
To live.
But then you want to put bullets in people who utilize their First Amendment that maybe don't agree with you. Okay.
Yep. That's exactly what they plan to do. Let me grab another one. Charlie Kirk encouraged individuals to achieve success through their own efforts and abilities.
Instead of coddling them and affirming them in their foolishness, Charlie crushed their little inferior and inadequate souls with the truth. Okay? A white man who actually had the guts to say, all right now, it's time for you to go on and get up and go on out there and go and do it on your own. You can do it. You don't need a handout. You don't need DEI. You don't need affirmative action. We're all equal image bearers made in the image of God. Come on now, you can do it.
Yeah, 2020.
I didn't even go to college, so you don't need DEI. This is America.
I got a video about the data on 2020 there, the voting. 220-some thousand votes.
America, you can do and be, go wherever you want. Come on, this is the standard. Now rise up and meet the standard, son. That is what made them angry. That's what makes them angry. Charlie unmasked their inferiority, and that's why they hated him. So they take to their pulpits and lash out like little petulant children, running to their mamas to tell them how daddy hurt him feelings, right? These churches are full of a bunch of silly women anyway. So you know that's who's listening to all this whining. And these women, because they ain't got good sense, they ain't got no man at home to be like, wait a minute, what he's down? I mean, no, I don't think that's what Charlie's issue was. How did he get racism and white supremacy when Charlie Kirk brought Blackstick, the organization, under the umbrella of TPUSA so he could keep the mission going forward? Charlie employs all of these black people, has platformed all of these black people. We sit as equals and respect one another. Why would he say this?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's grab this in lifelong Democrat switching.
I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I have spent hours out of my life the past few days watching Charlie Kirk debates. And if that pisses you off, then you especially should stay. Because when I tell you I've been absolutely consumed, not by the debates themselves or why I didn't agree with him, but it's our party that has left me feeling unsettled. And if you're a Democrat watching this, I really hope you take this not as an attack, but like from a friend who really cares. First, let's talk about the concept of mob mentality, which by definition just means being influenced by a larger group and losing your own personal judgment in the process. And the example I want to use is that clip that was everywhere, that went viral. Everybody was quoting it, where Charlie said, "I don't like the word empathy." We've probably all seen the short and the long version at this point, where he goes on to clarify that he prefers the word sympathy. Agree with them or disagree with them, doesn't matter to me. The point is, the real conversation never happened because the clip was cut in half. Why? To reinforce the idea that the right is full of these monsters who reject human feelings, right? That wasn't an accident. That omission was deliberate and strategic so that you would form an opinion about a person without using your own informed personal judgment. Does that bother you? If somebody's truly evil, shouldn't the truth just be enough? Shouldn't we be trusted to come to the right conclusion all on our own? Maybe you would have come to the same conclusion, but maybe you wouldn't have. And then there's the hypocrisy, okay? If you honestly ask me how many times in the past year I've seen the left dox and unemploy a person over hateful speech, I wouldn't be able to. And I get it. Actions have consequences. I'm not arguing that. But the same principles apply to us. If we sound the fascism alarm, we cannot celebrate death over speech. If we advocate for gun control, we cannot celebrate gun violence. If we call for diversifying our worldview, we can't then close off conversations that are uncomfortable, but that could possibly, maybe, lead to some kind of understanding. If we call the right a cult,
I can't imagine they'd shoot them over
we cannot cancel influencers who show empathy and sympathy to the wrong family. Think about it. One of the signs of a cult is pressuring members to cut off family members and friends who are outside of the group. Another is using guilt and shame to enforce conformity. Another, creating a me versus them mentality, demonizing them and creating dependence in us.
Is the youngest
I
on the
really
left.
feel like Finnick right now.
Remember who the real enemy is.
If you take nothing else from this video, I really hope it's this. It's not about Charlie Kirk. It's about us taking the time to reflect. Are we living up to our own standards and our own ideals? Are we leading with integrity, or are we just falling into a different version of the same fucking trap? Because from my viewpoint, I don't know, it feels like we're becoming a lot like the things we claim to stand against.
I'm encouraged by them all leaving. All right, Apollo brought up the election thing, so I'm going to play this little short clip about the 220,000 votes in Pennsylvania switched from President Trump to Biden. And here we go.
I've got a long list of things that we're investigating. We have the best of the best going after this, election integrity being one of them. We have evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast, which further drives forward your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country so that voters can have faith in the integrity of our elections.
Yep, it's crooked. That's for sure. It has been for a long time, too. Okay, let's go to this young man. Says Charlie Kirk was the biggest reason from leaving the left.
if I'm being honest, like most of us, Charlie Kirk was probably one of the biggest reasons why I even discovered any sort of interest in building a relationship with Jesus Christ. And because he's gone now, I genuinely feel a void in my soul, because when you have someone that you can look to with that has the most conviction I've ever seen in a man's eyes over what he believes in, it gives you such a sense of hope and comfort
Tim Smith,
that
huh?
you can just
I don't know who that is.
you can just depend it will be there all the time. But that's not the case. That's not the case anymore. There's a feeling that I feel slightly a lot emptier because, to be honest, I haven't really paid attention to a lot of other influencers or public figures that have propelled me in this direction as much as him. So, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I hate that it took him being killed for it to really sink into me.
Yep. Here's a lady that loved Charlie Kirk when he stood.
The way I cried over Charlie Kirk's passing, you would think I knew him. I didn't know him, but I loved what he stood for because he stood on the Bible and he wanted everyone to be hardworking. He believed in the nuclear family. And most of all, he stood on the word of God. I was shocked and appalled at the statements that people were making about this man, as if he was the devil himself. People definitely exposed themselves, and I'm glad they did. But yeah, as a Christian, even though they spread all that hate, I still love them. And I don't hate them. Hopefully one day they wake up and they get that hate out of their heart, because having that type of heart, that's a sad, miserable life to live.
Amen.
Let's just talk about it, because respectfully, a lot of y'all getting on my nerves. Let me tell you something about myself. I am probably one of the best people on this earth to speak on Charlie Kirk, to speak on his beliefs and what he preached, what he said, his messages. You want to know why? Because I've been in almost every field that y'all claim he's against. As you can see, I'm black. Blizzy black. Do you hear me? I'm a woman. I am a female. But y'all claim he is a sexist. Guess what else that I was? I was a member of the rainbow community, the alphabet community. For over 10 years of my life, I consider myself to be lesbian. You see this little white stuff on my shirt right here? You want to know what that is? It's baby throw up. You want to know why it's baby throw up? Because the Lord has blessed me with a husband and 3 kids after I gave my life to him, was filled with the Holy Spirit and born again. But you want to tell me, you hear that sweet voice? You want to tell me I was never meant to or never should have had any of this and should have continued to walk in the deception that was a part of my life. Get out of here. I support and approve much of what Charlie Kirk said because I lived it, I went through it, and I testify that doing things God's way is better, that me being black never was a hindrance, and that me being a woman is totally fine. You want to know why? I have a master's degree and I choose to be a stay-at-home mother. Oh, that's going to tick somebody off, ain't it? Yup, I sit at home all day with my 3 kids, taking care of them because my family will forever be more important than my career. But wait, that's not all. Let me include this really important detail. When I was 4 years old, my dad was unalived just a month before my 5th birthday. So don't come into my comments saying I had more opportunities than this person or that person. I was raised by a single mother who worked in a factory till this day. So get out of here, okay? We do what we choose to do. Stop making excuses. Listen to Charlie Kirk and understand that through the power of God, through the power of Jesus Christ, you can be more than conquerors. And Black community, you want to know what's really wrong with us? We ran away from Jesus and ran to the government. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. This one's done with the left.
My God. I've been a Democrat all my life. All my family been a Democrat all their life. And this BS shit with Charlie Kirk and everybody acting stupid and don't care about this man life and his family life, I'm done with you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? The little boy that got a Secret Service, little black kid with Trump had a little inauguration, whatever that event was he had, and you guys didn't stand up for him. I'm sick of, man, what the fuck is the matter with you guys? From this point on, I'm done with it. You know, I'm leaving the Democratic Party. You know, that don't make no sense. You guys are tyrants. You know, and it just don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? So you guys need to wake up because you're going to lose your party.
I was reading comments instead of the next video. There you go. Anything about conservative views, right-leaning? Okay, I'll just play it.
Hi, TikTok. I fear I've unraveled a mystery today that I need your help with. Let me start with a little bit of background for you. I live in Washington State. I own a home in Washington State. My elderly parents live with me.
Okay.
My adult children moved to Washington to be close to me, and both daughters are now married and have children. So my grandchildren are in Washington State. So for those reasons alone, I can't leave the state. But back in 2020, I lost my job as an ICU nurse because I refused to be vaccinated for COVID. I was a critical care RN for 22 years of my 25-year nursing career. Washington mandated that we be vaccinated, and what I didn't realize after I lost my job in the hospital was that I couldn't work anywhere as a nurse, not even remotely, if I wasn't vaccinated. So here goes some more fun stuff going down the rabbit hole. So I end up getting a job outside of the hospital as a director of human resources. After this past election, my boss came to me and said, "It's come to my attention that you voted for Trump." And I was shocked, to say the least. And I found out in Washington State, you can be fired for your political affiliation. They don't have to tell you that, but you can be fired without cause for any reason. Really. And I was let go. That is now been 7 months ago. And I have since applied for 152 jobs, and I have had 2 interviews. So let's go to the mystery today. So one of those 2 job interviews was today, and it honestly went really well, at least until the hiring manager walked me to my car. And she was discussing next steps, things like that. And then she stopped when she read a patriotic decal on my vehicle. And she said, "You know, you might want to drive a different vehicle to job interviews." And I pressed her for why. And I know I'm not getting this job now anyway, just because of the change in her demeanor. And I'm not going to out the business because she was actually brave enough to tell me the truth. And she said, "You know, even if I hadn't seen your Patriot decals on your vehicle, after your interview, the next step we would do is go research all of your social media. And if we found anything about conservative views, Republican views, right-leaning views,
not left-leaning, only right-leaning,
we wouldn't hire you. So either scrub your social media, take off your decals,
in other words, shut up or else.
Don't plan on applying for any more jobs in Washington State." I was devastated. I have a bachelor's degree in healthcare administration. I was a critical care RN for 22 years. I am a good person. I was a great nurse. I am kind. I am hardworking. And all I'm asking for is a job. I'm not asking for a handout. I just want a job. But for the life of me, it was baffling me how I could apply for over 150 jobs that I'm being told I'm overqualified for, to be turned down. And lo and behold, it's the fact that I'm a conservative Christian. I need a job. I am 1 month away from foreclosure on my house. I'm not asking for anything other than advice.
Yeah, that's how communism works.
Where do I go? What do I do from here? And God willing, will anybody give a smart, kind, conservative woman a freaking job?
They're doing it to us discreetly, kind of. All right, here's some bad news for the Democrats.
People are leaving the Democrat Party by the droves. After Charlie Kirk's death, and people were celebrating and just rejoicing that a man lost his life, people are leaving the Democrat Party by the droves. They celebrated a father being dead, a brother, a husband, a conservative, a man of God. People are done. The Democrat Party has now become the party of death.
Yep.
This was my turning point. When Charlie first died, when I first found out, I was upset. I didn't follow Charlie, but I would see his, videos online all the time, and I would think, wow, this guy, I don't know if I agree with everything he says because I didn't follow him like that. But this guy has like this open dialogue. It's very refreshing. I never saw it, and I respected him for that. Now I'm a registered Democrat, but for the last 3 elections, and before that even, I don't vote for party. I vote for whoever I think is going to be the best and whoever we need. Having said that, I have realized that I do lean more on the conservative side now. But the one thing
the left has left them
that really brought it home for me, the day Charlie died, my daughter came home from school. She's 11 years old. We live in Jersey, in Hudson County. It's very Democratic, liberal area. And, my daughter goes to school. They're in 6th grade. These children have a lot to say about Trump supporters. And my daughter, from peer pressure and whatever, has felt weird that I'm a Trump supporter. And when I asked her when she got home if she knew who Charlie Kirk was and what happened, she turned to me and said, yeah, I hate that guy. And that was my turning point. We never spoke about Charlie in this house. We never even, I don't even know if she's ever seen his stuff. And I'm really getting sick of people quoting him and then me having to go and find the transcript of that specific quote and send it to them. And then come back to me and go, oh, yeah, okay, I understand now. I'm getting tired of it. My turning point was when I realized they're influencing my children. For real. This isn't, oh, they're teaching this in school. No, this is actual influence for my child to turn to me and say, I hate him for no reason. She couldn't back it up. That was my turning point.
All right, next one's powerful statement.
I see a lot of ignorant Black people talking about, oh, he spoke on our community, he spoke on this. First of all, if you really watched him, you would know that he didn't just speak on our community, he spoke on all communities, including the LGBTQ community. Nobody was off limits if he felt strongly about something. He came with facts and statistics and his political standpoints on it. So for y'all to be still feeling like that's a justification for this man to die is insane to me. But then again, I'm not surprised because the same ignorant Black people that are talking about he spoke on us, would it have been better if he was Black? Because last time I checked, Kevin Samuels spoke on us too. He spoke on our community a lot. Black men and women, he spoke on us. And when he died, y'all celebrated his death as well. So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what color it is that's speaking the truth. You just don't want to hear the truth. That's what it boils down to. Nobody wants to hear the truth anymore. No one wants to take accountability for nothing. He could have been orange for all I care. Y'all still would have celebrated the death. That's how sick Y'all are in the freaking head now.
They are sick. All right, here's a Muslim saying it's okay to celebrate Charlie Kirk's death.
The way Charlie Kirk was unalive doesn't have to be condoned. It is a very murderous thing to do. But in terms of rejoicing on the fact that he's no more alive, that's fine. Be happy on his death. Because when an evil person dies, it's comfort for the rest of us. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said. Two types of people leave this world. The one who is righteous, he is relieved from the adversities of this world.
Now, what did Charlie Kirk say against Muslims for being Muslims? He was just saying Christianity is the right way to go. That's all he said.
And the other person, the evil individual, when he leaves this world, others are happy with his inexistence. The trees, the Prophet ﷺ said, the animals, the creation at large, they happy at his inexistence. فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَا كَانُوا مُنظَرِينَ. The skies are happy. The earth is happy. Allah says that for evil people that die. As much as it's not a good thing for his family, and condolences to his family, they better off without a person like this. Because when Khidr was traveling with Musa alayhi salam, Khidr was instructed to unalive a specific child. And the reason behind it was he was going to grow up to be a very notorious and rebellious individual.
Yeah, they killed their own
so
family
it was better
members
for the
all the
parents
time.
not to have that child.
Honor
You would have said
killings.
at that time condolence to the parents because they lost the innocent child. But in hindsight, why was he killed at that time? Because of the damage he was going to cause.
That he was going to cause. Bullcrap is. What damage is that? All right.
Why don't you believe that white privilege exists? I just want to get your understanding first, and then we could go from there.
Well, let's just, is there anything that you can't do that I can do?
No, we could do the same things if we put our minds to it.
Good. Then there's no white privilege.
Exactly.
Thanks.
It's got a
Little
couple
girl, but it is what it is. It's the truth.
Dress that as the root cause. Oh, it's white supremacy. It's injustice. It's economics. We're dancing around the core of the issue.
I guess what I'm saying is, right, and you've perfectly actually laid out the dichotomy here. It is a fact, obviously, that Black people disproportionately commit crime in this country. No one's arguing that. But you either believe that that is due to a complex intersection of social, economic, and like leftover effects from previous inequalities, or you believe that that is an inherent trait to the race.
No, I don't. Because they weren't that way in the 1940s and 50s. Black America was one of the most peaceful, flourishing, fastest growing economically communities in the country. It's not genetic. You're trying to point something on me that I don't believe. Instead,
But then
Black
you do
America,
believe that it's not genetic, so you do think CRT is correct.
Hold on a second.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
In the 1940s and 1950s, Black America was prosperous and was on pace to be richer and wealthier than white America. More dads were staying with the women that they were with. There was monogamy. What changed?
You're supporting my argument.
No, hold on. But answer the question. What changed? Did America get more racist since the 1950s?
I would argue there were more racist policies passed. There were more policies dedicated to lining off those communities and pushing them into poor housing and poor schools.
Wait a second. In the 1950s, Jackie Robinson had not even broken the color barrier. We had Jim Crow laws. We hadn't passed the Civil Rights Act, and we hadn't passed the Voting Rights Act. Yet blacks were better in the 1950s per capita than they are today. So we have become less racist. We've passed more anti-racist laws and given more stuff, and blacks are worse than they were 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Why?
So you're equating here institutional and social racism. Social racism was certainly worse in the 1950s. I'm sure everyone would agree. But institutional racism occurs when policies are passed against people.
Come on.
Which can increase over time, and it did.
You're not being intellectually honest. You know that. There was black-only drinking fountains in the 1950s. We don't have those anymore. Well, we're bringing them back with, black-only dormitories. But we had, for example, in the antebellum South in the 1950s, we had white-only communities, white by law. We got rid of that with the Civil Rights Act. But it didn't, unfortunately, we look around, the numbers speak for themselves. Black youth are less likely to have fathers. They're not doing as well as far as economically. They commit more crimes. So something changed. And our argument is what changed is three things. Number one, the imposition of the Great Society Project by Lyndon Baines Johnson of spending $30 trillion since 1960s on Section 8 housing, on welfare, on all sorts where, as I said, that young black women married the government and they divorced young black men. And then we also have had as Thomas Sowell and as Clarence Thomas would say, the soft bigotry of low expectations. And we have been afraid to get to the root of the issue or even speak about it because we don't want to be called a racist.
So what is imposing those low expectations?
Part of it is like white academic culture. I'll give you an example. I'm not saying you believe this, but Merrick Garland, the Attorney General of the United States, has come out and said having an ID to vote is racist. That is code for saying black people are too dumb to get a voter ID.
You're doing it again. You're simplifying a very nuanced, complex argument from the real people who are making it.
Is voter
Let me tell you something. So the young lady is there trying to cape for a bunch
Another
of black
white liberal
people who just want to not be held accountable. They don't want to be held accountable. I had every reason in the world to be a criminal. I didn't have my father. I didn't have my mother. I grew up in the hood. I was taught to be bad since a very young age. Me and my brothers, we used to get woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning by my big cousin, who is my brother. I call him my big brother, saying time to train. We would wake up, we had to fight each other. We had to do push-ups.
Exercise
we had
is
to
good
do
for you,
sit-ups.
Jeff.
We had to put our hands behind our back to test that our setups were, our crunches was working by punching each other in the stomach while our hands was behind our back. We had to do so many things. Then before my brothers even came to live with us, because I was there with Diane, Donnie, and Sean by myself until about 10, 11 years old. And my big brother, who was 5 years older than me, who is 5 years older than me, he's 52, just turned 52. I'm 47. That's my cousin, but that's my big brother. You'll understand later. And we grew up on 3rd Street, Southeast DC. We would go outside and he would just see a random boy walking down the street. Here I am, 10, 11 years old. And he would see a random boy walking down the street who's 13, 14, 15. And he would tell me to punch him in the face. And if I don't punch him in the face, then I had to fight Donnie. And Donnie was like the neighborhood bully. Even people his age, 16, 17, 18, did not want to fight him. They did not want anything to do with him at all. So me, my friends, my brothers, my cousins, all of us was taught how to be bad at a very young age. But they're absolutely right. Thomas Sowell, not they, Charlie Kirk is absolutely right. We look at the low expectations like they don't expect much from us. We can always blame racism, white supremacy. We can always blame the white man for not supplying us with what we need in our neighborhoods. Our neighborhoods are underserved communities. Our neighborhoods are oppressed. Our people are held under the thumb of the government, who won't provide us with all of the resources necessary to live a good life, when all of that is complete BS. We figured it out. We got it done. When I wanted some money, I went to the gas station and I pumped gas. I washed windows. Even if it meant being embarrassed around my neighborhood, I would do it. Why? Because I wanted to get some noodles for the house. I wanted to get some bread for the house. I wanted to get some snacks for me and my brothers. Like, it didn't matter, man. So at the end of the day, all of these excuses are just that, excuses.
Now they think
a nigga saying that
okay.
he got to sell drugs. Most of them are lying. They're lying through their damn teeth. My cousin Luciano, I will say that he had a reason to get out there and do whatever it took. Why? Because he was the oldest of 6 boys, and his mother was an addict. He had to provide food for his brothers in any way he possibly could, because who else was going to do it? My Uncle Joe wasn't there. I don't know what Uncle Joe was. And I'm not trying to put blame on nobody. And I'm not trying to put blame on my mother for not being there, my father for not being there. I'm not trying to put blame on nobody. But I will say this: whenever we choose to do the wrong thing, is an excuse, because there's a million other right things we can do. We just choose not to. All of these migrants, all these immigrants, they come over here from other countries. They travel from country to country looking for opportunities. But we can't even travel from city to city looking for opportunities, state to state looking for opportunities. We just want to always blame the white man.
NGOs
what that white girl
help get in
saying
here.
is false.
They're trying to take down America.
It's false. That's just the
NGOs
the
is their own
talking
tax
points
dollars too.
of black liberals who are well versed on critical race theory and Black history and claiming that they're standing up for their people and injustices of our people by constantly demanding more from the government, more from our country. You know what? If that's what you're going to do, feel free. They trying to get reparations. I don't care about getting reparations, but since I'm Black and I check that list, guess what? If one hit my bank account, I ain't going to give it back. I'm not going, because I'm Black
the
too.
The problem is they'd have to print money to do it. It makes it worthless.
I made up my mind at a young age to not go too far left. And I'm not talking about Democrat. I'm talking about too far left as far as going outside, picking up guns, putting them in people's faces, and selling drugs and all those things. I decided a different way to do things. And when I met my wife in the 10th grade, as we was 15 years old, we started dating and I fell in love. We fell in love with each other. And she used to say one thing to me, because she can afford to go on school trips and I couldn't. And when she went on school trips, she would just say, if I find out that you were in a fight or something, I'm going to F you up. I'm not playing. She couldn't beat me, but the fact that she gave a damn, I cared about, and it touched me in a soft spot. Pause. She used to make me sandwiches and bring them to school for me because she knew I couldn't afford lunch, even at high school. Like, I didn't have an extra job or anything like that. I was trying to sing. I was trying to go to practice. I was a male chorus. I was the male chorus president and vice president at the time. I was really trying to do certain things. I was running a singing group. We was trying to join whatever talent shows we possibly could. Even in the 11th grade, as a junior, was it 11th grade? 11th grade. It was 11th grade or 12th grade. One of those, I forgot. But we actually joined a talent show in Howard University. And we actually rocked out. We did a damn good job, but I was chasing that R&B stardom. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a performer. I looked at, Bobby Brown and R. Kelly and all these other artists, Babyface and Keith Sweat and Guy, with Aaron Hall and Teddy Riley and all these guys. I wanted to be like them when I grew up. And when I was around the way, I never looked at the hustlers and was like, man, I want what you got. I want to drive that car that you drive. I want to wear them shoes that you wear. That's not completely the truth, because I had family members that was deep in the game, still do. And I used to want to dress like them, but I never wanted the lifestyle that they had. So I studied other people that did business, like the ice cream truck driver in my neighborhood who came to my building right in the morning and in the afternoon, because he knew that my school was at the bottom of the hill, and he set up shop right there. All of the fights went on right there. All of the times I wanted to holler at a girl went on right there. People were getting knocked out. People were being knocked into seizures right on my front stoop. Like some of the craziest things happened around there. But guess what? First of all, me and my friends, we never really thought that we would live that long, past the age of 25. We had every excuse in the world to be criminals. And half of us actually went in that direction. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying people do what they do. But I doubt any of those times that they can blame the white man for that they can blame the country for that. They probably can, because they got the same teachings that the Nation of Islam give their people, or Black Panthers give their people, or Positive Comedic Visions give their people, or all of these.
That's his point, really.
Holier than thou, critical race theory, Black Power type of groups all give their people for talking points of all the people that died by the hands of the police or by the government.
That's what they
want to
keep them
way.
in.
Like we can name like 10, 15 people who died by the hands of the police, and we will rock for them. We will go out there and burn the city down for them before the 15,000 people that we know who was killed by people that look like us on our block. What we doing for them? Nothing. We'll wear a t-shirt with their face on it. We'll light a candle and blow a balloon, send a balloon somewhere to show that we care. But other than that, we just dismiss it as a way of life. This is just how it is in our hood. No, it's not just how it is. We accept mediocrity. We accept the lowest forms of getting by, and so what Thomas Sowell said is absolutely the truth. I always thought I was the man. Why? Because I was comparing myself to other dudes who barely did anything for their families. Everybody got baby mother, baby mother, baby mother, baby father, baby father, baby father, baby father. And I decided to marry my wife and stay with her. We decided to stay together. We decided to continue to build. We decided to buy property. We decided to do these things. I could have done some devious things. Matter of fact, I've done some things, but they weren't devious. They probably would have got me some prison time back in the day. But all I'm saying is, it's all about the decisions that we make, the choices that we make, our mindset. What do we want to do in the future? Do we even see ourselves in having a future? Which I did not. But being that I fell for a young lady that I cared for, I now had something to live for. I impregnated her at the age of 18. I now had someone to take care of. I now had a reason to go out there and work and bust my ass. Whether it was commission only jobs, I did those. Whether it was low paying jobs where I had to work overtime and double time, I did those. And was always looking for something better, always looking for a career, always looking for a way to level up. So whenever people give me those excuses, miss me with that mess. We won't give those same passes to people on sports teams. Not on a basketball team, football team, track team. We won't give them the same pass.
Yeah,
why?
Exactly,
because it's completely 1,000% merit-based.
Feminism
and when it comes to merit-based activities, we even try to play the race card in that. You say 75% of black people are in the NBA and they killing it, they crushing it. You'll have somebody say, well, we ain't got no black owners. How many black owners is it? How many people own black NBA teams? We got 50% of the NFL that's black people. Well, we ain't got no black owners. How many black people own NFL teams? There. And there's black people that own NFL and NBA teams, but you get the gist. All I'm saying is that once we stop making excuses for every damn thing and for every damn body just because they're black, we're going to start to see things correct themselves. We're going to start to see black communities shape up. But until then, we're always saying that they got a reason to be oppressed. They don't have no jobs. They don't have no activities. What are they supposed to do after school? They supposed to do whatever the hell they supposed to do. Like I did. I could have gotten into a lot of trouble. I could have impregnated a lot of girls. But I decided. It's all about decision making. Just like all of these women that decide to have baby after baby after baby after baby by different men after different men after different men, and believing that the government is going to take care of all of them. And then they pass that same mentality down generation to generation. Now,
Dan, our family was crazy poor. I grew up in a family of 8 kids, and we were crazy poor. We used to go out and pick milkweed and work for farmers some just to get some food to bring home from the farmers and stuff. They give us some pay and some food, vegetables and stuff, corn and stuff like that.
We got a president in office that's saying, nah, it's going to be a time limit on this. And people are pissed off. Why? Because that mindset just does not shift overnight.
I think they're owed, entitled.
I said enough, man. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door, man. Make sure you also check out my YouTube course, how to do YouTube. I don't care.
Next one I got is about Katie Hopkins was talking to Glenn Beck. It's an interesting conversation. You know that they left the one after so bad she had to give up her kids? This is interesting about this.
When I was a threat to my own children, I didn't get to be in their lives very much. We had to take them away from me. We changed.
What does that mean, you're a threat to your own children?
So at the point when I was the most hated and I had the biggest voice, and it was decided by powerful organizations, political groups, and religious organizations that I would be destroyed.
Your niece?
That destruction was universal. So it was my jobs, all of them.
Oh, your niece was by your side.
Lawfare
Okay,
that I'd caused you today. You could say you perceived I seriously harmed you with my speech. You can sue me. Yeah. And they all lined up and did. So they bankrupted me and I lost our home. And then the British government did a play called The Assassination of Katie Hopkins. There's posters that went up around the country. And then my children repeatedly were reported to social services, the kind of care services, as that I abused them and that people had seen me abusing them. And they were little then, and they had to be interviewed separately about whether they'd been abused. And I had got to a point where it was obvious.
And you can talk little kids in the line
to any rational individual
keep after them long enough.
That the only way to protect the children would be to remove yourself in a sort of final way. And I did leave my house to do that one day because a mother's duty is to protect her cubs. And lovely Mark found me and stopped me, and he then took the children and took them away. Together, I mean, we worked together. He didn't take them from me. He took them away to safety. He changed all of their names. None of them have the same name as each other. And then he took them to a new place and put them under a new address that I have no part. I own nothing. And then I left to America. And then I never went to any of their schools. Not one day.
I wondered for a while. I was trying to figure that out.
As a mother, how do you process this? I'm surprised you're standing.
I have sparkles on, so all is well. Because it was a while ago, and America took me in and let me be on its roads and its sidewalks and its clubs and Republican events. And it made me realize I was a good person. I thought I was. And America rehabilitated me with its patriots. And now the world gave me back my voice. The world's done a 180 and I now can speak again. And the thing to return to where we were about why I have such faith in young people is that universities no longer matter. I totally accept the elite universities here, amazing, and I so see. Yeah, no, but I so see like if you play football here, that really matters, and that's amazing. But other unis, our unis, it's over. My kids, without my say so, having missed much of their lives, they are 21, farmer. She's a tough bird. She can drive a tractor. She has 250 head of cattle that she runs. In fact, she'd like to come out to Texas and be a farmer here. I'm very keen for her to marry an American. Yes. Yeah. Then my next daughter, 20 years old, she's gone into the hospital as a nurse. She cares for dementia patients, never went to college. My son, who's 17 and 6'4", is a mechanic, is an apprentice at a garage, will never go to uni. And I see that playing out time after time after time. Kids choosing a different route. Maybe they'll do some uni, maybe they'll do some learning, but they are not going to be on campus to get themselves into massive debt, to be indoctrinated by people who look like those weirdos on campus or look like the liberal women look, like the feminazis 2.0. Where the O stands for, oh my God, is that thing really a woman? Right? They are some ugly women out there. The feminazis with their placards. At the inauguration of Trump. Come on, save the polar bear. None of them knew why they were there. My body, my choice. With that body, you don't get a choice, honey bunny.
Well said, well said. All right, next one's my friend Maddie. Talking about that illegal immigrant superintendent situation with weapons charges and all that kind of stuff.
I got a lot of questions. How are illegals getting in position of office? The latest story I want to emphasize on is this Dr. Ian Roberts. He was the Des Moines school superintendent who just recently got detained by ICE.
I agree.
Yet
we have
this
a very
man
loving friend
was an illegal immigrant. So his track history is he is from Guyana,
very close,
and he overstayed his visa since 1999. Then in 2020, he was arrested on weapons charges. He became a Des Moines superintendent in 2023. Then in 2024, there was an order for deportation. And throughout this year, 2025, he's been evading ICE until he finally got caught. So what is going on with these public offices and these public, government entities? Are they not properly vetting their candidates? Because I don't understand how 3 years prior to Ian Roberts getting this position as superintendent, back in 2020, he was charged and he was arrested for weapons charges. And then in 2023, he becomes a superintendent. Aren't these people not properly vetting their applicants? Not only that, as a potential employer, aren't you supposed to be doing like e-verifies? You're supposed to be doing an e-verify to make sure that this person is within status and he's eligible to work in the United States. I know this because I've had to go through the same thing. Before I became a U.S. citizen and I was a permanent resident, every time I asked for employment, when I applied for employment, they did e-verifies on me. Asked me for my credentials, asked me for my green card and all my supporting documents. Everything came out and checked out well because I was within legal status. And another example is this lady here, Tanya Fernandez Anderson, a Cape Verdean born American. She's American now, but she was also illegal for some time. And then she became a Boston City Councilwoman. But then her crime was she was charged with a kickback scheme where she was employing family members. She employed her sister, she employed her brother, and she started now giving unexplained salary increases and kicking back her sister with money. I think she kicked back her sister $7,000 and then using taxpayers' money, and that's how she got snuffed and scuzzed out. But the one red flag was first she was a Muslim. She was the first Boston Muslim former illegal immigrant being a Boston City Councilwoman. So that should have been a red flag right there. And then she was illegal. So the fact that she was once an illegal immigrant, but then she ended up getting that kind of a position, that should have been grounds for her not have been qualified because she committed a crime.
They know how to play
and
the
don't
system,
even
though.
get me started on
NGOs
Ilhan Omar.
This.
My gosh, don't even get
Look at
me
all
started
the
on her.
truck driving
How
now.
she is she has a seat in Congress. What is going on? And it infuriates me because it's people like myself who, an immigrant who came here legally, did things the right way, obtained my citizenship with all the right credentials. But people who are doing good, we're not in positions of authority like that. But then you have these illegals, and usually they sway Democrat in these positions of power and abusing situations as well. How did this happen? What is going on? Why are these government entities not properly vetting these
they are vetting
these foreign nationals?
And they
you
want
gotta
to
do better. You have to do better.
They get in before us. They get jobs before us. That's why they're doing it. Next one I got about the China C-19 virus, China virus. A lot of the stuff they weren't telling us and intentionally trying to get the stuff into us because they knew it was going to harm us. And there was a lot of good stuff they were preventing us from getting, like ivermectin and that. Watch this.
The microbiome, or microbes in our guts, is our immunity. And this is why, as a gastroenterologist, I stepped into the pandemic. Through my experience, I will show you how difficult it was to conduct research and publish when the research goes against the national public health narrative. In early 2020, my research genetic sequencing laboratory was the first lab to document the entire sequence of the virus in the stools, as opposed to the PCR, which is just a little piece of the virus. We discovered that the virus lingered in the stools for up to 45 days. It took 6 months to publish this publication at a time where everybody needed to know that it was in your stools. My lab also showed that COVID-19 in the stools was killed by hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. But unfortunately, azithromycin and hydroxychloroquine killed the microbiome. So therefore, vitamin C, D, and zinc was added. 3 studies were also put into clinicaltrials.gov in full transparencies to help doctors more effectively treat COVID, because I knew data that nobody knew. System pressures delayed us, and we got a green light to start recruiting by May 2020. By then, the media created fear around hydroxychloroquine. It was impossible to recruit. This drug was safely given for years for arthritis and lupus with no problems. My clinical trials companies were also banned and censored from advertising on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Remember, I do clinical trials for a living, and never as a clinical trial doctor have I not been able to advertise to recruit for a trial on social media. I kept collecting stools of patients and noticed that patients with severe COVID had a certain bacteria that was missing compared to people that were highly exposed to COVID but never got COVID. That bacteria is called bifidobacteria. Bifidobacteria is an important and key microbe for immunity. It is present in newborns. This is why your newborns did not get a problem from COVID at the beginning. And it is absent in old people. The process of aging is loss of bifidobacteria. We published this paper, The Lost Microbes of COVID-19. It took 8 months to publish.
If you have bad stomach, you die young.
Was also an interesting drug because ivermectin, we noticed, also increased the bifidobacteria within 24 hours of taking it. Why ivermectin? If you look at what ivermectin is, it is a fermented product of a bacteria that is similar to bifidobacteria. In fact, they're in the same continent of microbes. They live, they're like sisters, brothers in the microbiome. I knew that ivermectin increased bifidobacteria, but I said, I can't go out there and start publishing that. That's going to be too controversial. So I published a hypothesis that maybe what I was observing on the front line treating patients with COVID, noticing that their oxygen saturation was increasing from ivermectin, was basically maybe ivermectin increased bifidobacteria. The hypothesis on ivermectin was the most read hypothesis in the pandemic and was retracted after 8 months of being on. When we cannot make a hypothesis, this is not science. December 2020, at the same time that I was treating patients with COVID, I began collecting stools of my colleagues that were at home and started going into the hospital. And I said, can I get your stools before and after you get vaccinated? Because to me, this new technology of vaccines, I wanted to see what it was doing on the microbiome. I discovered that messenger RNA vaccines killed the bifidobacteria. I knew I would never be able to publish this because it goes against the narrative. So I submitted it to my college, the American College of Gastroenterology, and presented it in October 2022. This abstract won a research award at the American College of Gastro beating 6,000 abstracts. That's from academic centers like Harvard and Mayo Clinic and MD Anderson. This abstract got the attention of 18,000 GI doctors who all of a sudden started realizing maybe killing bifidobacteria is why I got COVID after my vaccine to begin with. And another abstract we presented was the persistent damage of bifidobacteria from the vaccine. What is going on here that the vaccine continues to kill the bifidobacteria? At the same time, we presented a link between loss of bifidobacteria and Crohn's disease, loss of bifidobacteria in Lyme disease, and loss of bifidobacteria in invasive cancer. It is nearly impossible to publish data that goes against the national public health narrative. If doctors cannot publish the data, they cannot find solution to fix the problems. Clinical trials doctors follow guidelines that allows the industry to provide safe drugs. These guidelines were not followed during the pandemic. And because of that, everyone is affected. COVID should have been a time where humanity joined forces together and doctors needed to come together. It's a shame that it didn't happen. Interference with research affects all of us. This should not be political. Science is a story that evolves. It's a multitude of experiments that allow us to see medicine, to give hopes to patients. Skepticism, challenging the current state of knowledge, having an open mind must be allowed if we have any hope of moving science forward. What I saw this pandemic was not science. Thank you.
Almost like they wanted it to happen. They know a lot of this. They may not know exactly, but they knew that they had to keep ivermectin out of it because they want us dead. The ones that want to reduce the world's population and to take over the world. The World Health Organization is a big part of it. The UN, all of them. They all are part of this globalist takeover. All right. I'm going to just say with this, I voted for this about new border wall going up. Watch this.
Behind me is the first section of the new border wall in the San Rafael Valley. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says it's at least 30 feet tall and painted black. Homeland Security Secretary Christine Nome says the entire U.S. southern border will be painted black to make it hotter for people to climb. Officials say the new wall in the San Rafael Valley will be made of 6-inch squared steel bollards. This particular wall is south of Sonoita and in between Nogales and Sierra Vista. Officials say the wall will continue to be built and replace the vehicle barriers that are currently in place here.
Yeah, anyone can
While I was here, I could see crews working on the wall. Some people are in favor of this wall being put up to deter illegal immigration.
It barely slows you down without the wall. The wall, they say, oh, a lot of people say, oh, people can get through and all that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, but they won't flow by the millions and that. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to take off now, and I'll see you tomorrow, probably around 6 after the Yankee game's over. The standings, whether they're going to be seated first or second, it matters there. Toronto's got to lose once for that to happen, though. But in any case, all right, God bless everyone. See you tomorrow, probably around 6 p.m. Eastern. Bye-bye.